Welcome everyone to my channel, that is Fast and Easy Maths, which is dedicated to give you tips and tricks related to mathematics. So students, today we are going to do a part 2 of integration crash course, okay? And this is a quite interesting and important part because here we are talking about properties, and this is an area where I've seen most of the students getting confused as well. So I request all of you all to stay tuned to the last of the video because I'm going to cover all the properties in this video. Okay, so let's talk about the first property, which is what? If f of x the whole raised to n into we have f dash of x, okay, dx, then your final answer will just be f of x the whole raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1 plus c. Okay students, I'm not just going to tell you the properties, I am definitely going to show you how to apply these properties in the sums as well. Okay, so if you like the way I'm explaining, then do go ahead and hit the like button. Okay, so now understand what is the kind of question are we dealing with in this case. So if we have 1 upon 2x plus x raised to minus n dx, then in this case how will you apply this property? Yeah, because this looks only quite tricky, and just because I'm writing below the property, so you know that we are going to apply this property. But if this question comes in your paper, it gets a bit trickier to understand which property to apply when. Okay, so let's assume that this was the question which had appeared in your paper, and then what you should have done is you should do something which is very obvious. We do not like negatives in the, or rather negative powers in the denominator. So what do we do is we make it positive 1 upon x raised to n dx. So then we will have, let's take LCM, 1 upon 2 raised to x raised to n plus 1, right? Because x into x raised to n can get you x raised to n plus 1 the whole upon x raised to n dx. So obviously now this is like a complicated fraction, so we'll keep it in a normal way. You will shift this x raised to n, which will get multiplied with the 1 in the numerator. So we get x raised to n upon 2 into x raised to n plus 1 dx. Students, if you have doubts of how to do this, okay, how I shifted, or rather why did I shift it, okay, so there is a completely separate video of that which makes you understand how to divide fractions. Okay, so if that is the case, then please go ahead and check that video as well. The link of that will be available on top as well as in the description. Okay, so now here if you can see, this looks tricky but can be manageable if we take 2 into x raised to n plus 1 as nothing but t, right? By substitution method we can be able to manage this. So let's take, let x raised to n plus 1 is equals to t. Okay, so differentiating both the sides by x, we get n into x raised to n, sorry, n plus 1 into x raised to n is equals to dt by dx. Okay, so can I say, just making a partition, so we can say that x raised to n into dx is equals to dt upon n plus 1. Why did I shift it n plus 1 over here is basically I wanted a part of my question to become dt, okay, but with this part n plus 1 was not included, so I just shifted on with the side of dt. So now let's put the entire question in terms of dt. So I can write dt, since this is a constant I can put it directly outside, okay, upon your x raised to n plus 1 is t plus 1. So 1 upon n plus 1 into differentiation of 1 upon t plus 2t plus 1 can be written as log mod 2 t plus 1 divided by 2 plus c. Now why did I divide it by 2? Because the chain rule in integration is you just divide the coefficient of your term, or rather x, or in this case t, by the whole answer. So your final answer is 1 upon 2 into n plus 1 into log mod. You cannot write, this is another mistake which most of my students have made, that is nothing but keeping your answers in terms of t. Okay, that is not acceptable. Your answer has to be in terms of x, because your question was also in the terms of x, right? So you write it in your that term as well. T was nothing but x raised to n plus 1 plus 1 plus c. So you saw how easy this entire thing became. Okay, now students, imagine if for this particular formula only you had, instead of let's say we had f dash of x upon root of f of x. Okay, so we will apply the same formula actually. So your final answer is what? F of x. Your n is what? Minus half in this case. So minus half plus 1 upon minus half plus 1, which is equals to plus c. Sorry. So this is nothing but minus half plus 1 gets you just half. So I can write that as nothing but root f of x plus c. Minus half plus 1 gets you just half. So the 2 will go in the numerator. So this is how your second corollary using this particular property only can be achieved. Okay. So I hope you've understood this as well. So in case if you have a question which has something like this, a root, do not panic. You just simply stick to this property. You don't even have to remember this particular outcome as well. Okay. So now let's talk about the next property, which is if f dash of x upon f of x we get. So please understand, as I told you, there is no quotient rule in integration. So the moment you come across a fraction, you have to understand, you have to either simplify your question or you will have to use any of the properties which I am teaching today. Okay. So, or before I forget, yeah, the formulas or the partial fractions, but that you will come to understand once you come to that video as well. Okay. So why you will not use a property and why you should use partial fractions at times. Okay. So your final answer will be log mod f of x plus c. Okay. So now let's understand this particular property with the help of a question. So this question is x into log x. Now this multiplied by log of log x. Looks quite tricky, right? But trust me, the answer is like so simple. All you have to do is, so see, there are a lot of students who do not understand how to use substitution or what terms to substitute. Okay. So for those students, I can tell you all that you should always try to substitute a term which looks a bit trickier. Okay. Or in case you're good at differentiating, which I'm sure you all must be because you have got a year to prepare. But if you're like really good at differentiation, you should take a term and try to differentiate it in your head. Most of the times the terms are not this tricky. It's very, very simple. Okay. So here I told you, like, we'll take something which looks tricky as t. So now again differentiating with respect to x, we get log of log x, we get 1 upon log x, and then because of chain rule you will still differentiate the log x as well. So we'll get 1 upon x is equals to dt upon dx. So final answer is 1 upon x log x dx is equals to dt. Now if you look closely, I can say a part of my question along with dx has now become dt, correct? So let's go back to your actual question, which was 1 upon dt into t, sorry, upon t correct? Because this was just t and this whole part became dt. So your final answer is now log mod t plus c. But like I said, you cannot keep your answers in terms of t. So your final answer will be log mod log of log x plus c. See, the answer looks quite trickier, but actually the entire solution was so simple. You just have to have confidence in yourself, and obviously you should be good at differentiating, okay? Otherwise, learning integration without differentiation is going to be a very difficult task. Okay, so now let's go to the next property. So the next property is, if ax plus b the whole multiplied by cx plus d the whole raised to n. So in your textbooks, they have written root of cx plus d to avoid confusion with your earlier property, which was if f of x the whole raised to n into f dash of x dx. Okay, please understand, this is a very different property than this, because here there is not any part of your question is not becoming like f dash of x or something like that. Okay, so please understand, in this case these two properties are not equal to each other. Okay, so now let's begin. So in this case, what you should do, if you have two linear terms, what you should do is simply, or rather two polynomials, not linear terms, two polynomials, and the one which has got some degree to it. It's not necessarily it has to be greater than 1. It can be -1, -2, negative root 2, negative root, or anything like that. Okay, so if you have something like that, then you just straight away put, or rather take, cx plus d is equals to t as your substitution. And trust me, when you do that, after solving and putting everything in terms of dt and t, your entire question will become very simple. So let's take, for example, x raised to 7 the whole upon 1 plus x raised to 4 the whole square dx. Okay, one very silly question which my student asked, but that is something which a lot of students have a doubt but they don't ask. So that is why would not we separate, or rather expand the denominator and separate the numerator. You cannot do that. You can only do that when, if 1 plus x raised to 4 the whole square was there in your numerator, only then you can separate your numerator with your denominator, not the other way round. Okay, so now like I said, here we have x1 plus x raised to 4 the whole raised to 2, correct? So let's take that as your t. So now, can I differentiate with respect to x, and then can I say it becomes 4x cube dx is equals to dt, correct? Now I can change, or rather write x raised to 7 as nothing but x raised to 4 into x cube dx upon 1 plus x raised to 4 the whole raised to 2. Okay, so please understand, here can I say x cube dx is equals to dt by 4. Okay, so now putting everything in terms of dt and dx and t, so I will have another thing. Now you have x raised to 4. Okay, so can I write x raised to 4 as nothing but t minus 1? So we'll have t minus 1, x cube into dx will get you dt upon 4 is already taken care of, upon, can I write this as nothing but t square? Okay, so now you will understand why, or rather what I was talking to you about. Now you can separate your numerator. So you will have t upon t square minus 1 upon t square dt. Okay, so this will now change to 1 upon 4 1 upon t dt minus, I can write this as nothing but t raised to minus 2 dt, correct? Why did I shift t raised to 2 in the numerator is because when I do that, it is very easy for me to apply the formula of x raised to n. Okay, so now we can write our answer as nothing but 1 upon 4 into log bracket mod t minus t raised to minus 2 can be written as t raised to minus 1 upon minus 1 plus c. Sorry. Okay, so 1 upon 4 into log mod, what was your t? That was nothing but 1 plus x raised to 4. Minus and minus will get plus, so plus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to 4 plus c. Okay, so I hope you've understood how to deal with these kind of questions, and you saw that this was completely different than your f of x the whole raised to n into f dash of x. Okay, so now let's talk about the next property. So if you have a sum which gets you e raised to x plus a into a raised to x plus b upon c into e raised to x plus d dx, then we can directly use then numerator is equals to a into denominator plus b into d by dx of denominator. Okay, so yeah, this looks quite different than what we have done by now, but this is very easy to identify. In fact, I like this property a lot because it's so easy to identify. Okay, and once you're done with this, you substitute your numerator in this form and then continue by solving. Okay, so let's try and understand how to do this. So we have a question which is 20 minus 12 e raised to x upon 3 e raised to x minus 4 dx. So now according to our understanding, we can say 20 minus 12 e raised to x can be written as a into 3 e raised to x minus 4 plus b, differentiating the denominator. So let's do it directly. So 3 e raised to x will get you just 3 e raised to x minus 4 will become 0. So now on expanding, I can say a 3a e raised to x minus 4a plus 3b e raised to x. Okay, so 20 minus 12 e raised to x. Okay, so now comparing the coefficients, we can say that minus 12 is equals to 3a plus b and 20 is equals to minus 4a, right? So therefore I can say a is equals to minus 5, and putting this over here, I get 12 divided by 3 is minus 4 is equals to minus 5 plus b. Therefore b is equals to just 1. Okay, so now substituting these values in your this equation and writing that as your numerator. Okay, so I can say therefore your I will now change to a, which is minus 5 into 3 e raised to x minus 4 plus b, which was 1. So 1 into 3 e raised to x upon 3 e raised to x minus 4. The whole is obviously integrated with respect to x. So now let's split it. So I'll write minus 5 outside, 3 e raised to x minus 4 upon 3 e raised to x minus 4 plus integration of 3 e raised to x upon 3 e raised to x minus 4 dx. Okay, now students, here also there is dx. Okay, Students, here many of my students make a mistake that they take this 5 inside, and then they try to understand what is the value of what is the coefficient for e raised to x, and then take the constant on the other side. That is completely a no. Okay, there is a reason why we did this, so that we can split it. Okay, so now minus 5 into integration of 1 dx plus, we keep this as it is. Yeah, this is another thing which a lot of students make a mistake, is that if we know the answer of 1, then we we continue keeping the other one as it is. Don't do that. If you're applying the formula, try apply it at the same time, otherwise you will land up into that C1, C2, constant 1, constant 2, and then completely making C1 making a big constant which is C at the end. Okay, that's quite messy, so it is better to do it this way. So minus 5 into integration of x, 1 is x, plus, can I say this is my property 1, right? We get integration of f dash of x upon f of x, correct? And the answer to that is what? Log mod f of x plus c. So here my final answer will be log mod 3 e raised to x minus 4 plus c. So you understood how easy this and all of these properties became, right? There is absolutely no doubt to rush into any of this, but this is one video which I want all of you all to have a very clear understanding of. If you want, you can actually pause it and go back and check what you all have not understood. Okay, so now as we know that we have already finished the standard formulas of integration, and now we have done with the properties. Okay, so the next video will be about the formulas, and hopefully I can club it with u into v as well. I'll try. Okay, so that's it for now. I will see you in the next video. Bye.